Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to THFC Till I Die for this short edition of Spurs Newsround. We'll be back tomorrow at our normal time at 12:30, but today is a short one. Hello, Ellie. How are you?
Hello. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. We'll
Good.
quickly welcome some people into the chat. Big up Wayne Bonner. It says afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Looking forward to smashing Chelsea 7-0 on Sunday. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
wow.
And David Clark,
That's
hello
all
from
right.
Leicester. Hope is all well. Yeah, we are fine. Ellie, how are you? Did you
I'm
watch
all
the
right.
Champions League last night?
Yeah, what a great game. Bloody hell, Liverpool went storming out the barracks 2-0 up. They thought they were going to be cruising. Then Real Madrid, as usual, they pull out all the stops and all their star players step up again, especially Luka Modric. He was fabulous.
Yeah, he was on another planet, Ellie. We're going to go over some quick news this morning. Firstly, before we
Yep.
get into the news, well, we'll do that first, actually, Tottenham news. Alfie Whiteman has signed a new 2-year contract to stay at Spurs to the end of the
Right.
24-25 campaign. Good thing to keep him on.
Yeah, they've got a lot of hope in him, because he's
Mm.
showing really good signs of progression. And the goalkeeping coach, I saw a little article about how he feels Alfie Whiteman might even step up to the grade, because he's doing all the right things in training. Yeah,
Yeah, and we've
I'm
got
really
Step Up
happy about
Spurs. Hello, Quinn. Ellie is looking
that. Right,
dashing today.
right.
There you go. You got
Thank
a
you.
Myra now, Ellie. You have an
Yeah.
Myra. Also, Ellie, Pochettino's rejected Todd Bowley's approach to replace Harry Potter as Chelsea manager. Now,
Yeah.
there is more to this. The former Tottenham and Paris PSG manager, Pochettino, has turned down Chelsea's approach for him to replace Graham Potter. The Blues manager has just won once in his last 10 games in all competitions.
Yeah.
We are doing the show tonight. It's Poch returning to Spurs, me and Philip. But Ellie, is he returning
Yeah.
to Tottenham?
The signs are there, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
You can't ignore them. Do you know what? I know you're against him coming back because you always feel that if you come back to a club, but I personally I loved Poch. I did love him, but to come back, that's another question, isn't it? I wouldn't be against it, but I wouldn't be for it. I'm on the fence on that one. But in regards to Graham Potter, he would have had the chop if Abramovich was in charge after 5 losses, yet alone 10 goals without a win.
Last night, Ellie, I was watching a video on YouTube to have the compilations of all the people doing watch-alongs, all the different YouTube channels. And they were doing the Chelsea ones. And I thought I'll watch it. It was the most funniest 10 minutes I've seen on YouTube for a long time. Half of them it's like meltdown galore.
I know.
It was like, oh, get Potter out. If Potter go. One fella says, if Prowse scores here, he said, I'm gonna something my wife. That's what he said. Now I'm not gonna say what he said.
I know.
Somebody put in the chat, did you just say what we thought you just said? I mean, you're just looking there thinking, they're nutters. And then all the Chelsea fans arguing with each other. It is really funny. It's hilariously funny.
It is funny. And you know what? Football brings out a different passion in people. It's like a corrupt passion sometimes. It gets too AWOL, and to say things like that is a bit sickening in a way, isn't it?
It is. It really is. David Clark's asking you, Ellie, what a disgrace the FA overturning that red card and banning Spurs lady Sonnerman for simulating injury, for faking an injury. If it had been the other way around, they wouldn't have made that decision.
Right, you're right, David. You know what? I watched that incident so many times over and over and again just to get a perspective on it. And she was fouled, right? And there was an elbow to her face, right? And when she was on the floor, she was pinning her down. So what do you expect the girl to do? That I think that's disgraceful. I'm with you on that one, David. I think it's totally. If it had been on the other shoe, it would have been a different decision. You're right there.
Yeah, it really would have been. Everyone, please hit that like button as well. It really does help. Unsubscribe. It does help the algorithm. I've got a poll in the chat. Will Potts return? 83% say yes.
Yeah.
17% say no. But as I said, me and Philip tonight will be doing the show. Is Potts the Potts? I forget what he's called it now.
Return of Potts.
I might be Return of the Mac. Right,
Yeah.
Ellie. We do this once a week. We check on our loanees that are out in over and Broad, Winks, UG, Mr. Burger King, and we just have a quick look at what they're doing. So we'll start with Destiny. On Sunday, Destiny was a visitor to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to see the pitch, and where he will be hoping to raid up and down the left wing next season. The 20-year-old wing-back signed for Spurs last summer, only to be loaned back to Udinese, where he has continued to develop and impress with 3 goals and 2 assists to his names from 19 Serie A games this season so far. The Italy under-21 international got to meet his teammates ahead of the game against West Ham, having been unable to really do so in his whirlwind visit to Hotspur way last August. He then watched the 2-0 win from the stands among the fans as he took in the huge stadium that will eventually become his home. He also, Udinese visits N17 was kept low-key so as not to upset anyone at Udinese in the aftermath of the 3-1 defeat at Inter Milan on Friday, but it would have given him a sense of what is to come. There is plenty of excitement within the Spurs about Udinese's arrival this summer and the impact he will have on the pitch. Ellie, I can't wait to see him in our colours and raiding up down that left wing. He is going to be sensational next season.
Yeah, I think he's got the temperament and the, like I've been watching him closely on the YouTube. You don't always see the whole of the game, but what I've seen, I've been very impressed with. He's got very quick feet. He knows where players are. Some players, they've got space awareness, when they pick up the ball and they know exactly where their targets are, who they've got to hit. And he's got that in abundance. I love him a lot. I think he's going to add a lot of entertainment and a lot of excitement down that wing, and also energy because he can get up and down. We've lacked that down that side.
Yeah, we have. I just want to get David Clark. Yeah, that was one of them, David. He was going to a dental. He says the Chelsea fan said, I've got a dental appointment if he scores. I'm going. And our Lord Jesus, I don't think he went in the end. It was so funny. Honestly, I would recommend anyone, if to see it come up on their YouTube page, watch it. It's about 12 minutes of the funniest stuff you'll ever watch in your life. I hope, David, remember the fella beforehand when he was nearly going to chuck the chair out of his room?
Oh, no.
Did he say what I thought he was going to say? Could you just let me know if I was right on that? But that's Mr. That's Mr. Destiny. He's coming to Spurs for his destiny. Had to get that out. Mr. Winks. Now I apologise about the small writing. I will try to make these bigger and better.
It's all right.
Well, it's not just for you, Ellie. It's for the people watching. They can't read it. But anyway, Harry Winks has made it 5 consecutive 90-minute displays after his return from injury as struggling Sampdoria went down 2-1 home to Bologna at the weekend. The midfielder, who turned 27 this month, has been speaking at a number of English media outlets this week and finds his form in Serie A. In one interview, Winks told the Times about needing to move out of Spurs, even if his new challenge was a tough one because of an ankle injury that robbed him of the first half of the season. Everyone, me and the club, we both knew it. It was time to part, Winks said, before admitting that he will not have blamed Sampdoria for cutting his loan short as he struggled with his ankle, eventually needing surgery. Normally, I say there weren't any doubts because you always think you're going to be fine, but this time there were. it was one of the toughest times in my career. You're moving abroad, trying to get settled in at a new club, and the main reason to play football, and that is the one consistent you have playing the game, but insist you answering questions about why your ankle isn't getting better. I feel like I let the club down in that sense. I'm not sure if there was any discussion between Sampdoria and Tottenham, but it could have been an easy decision to send me back, say let's leave it. I said from the start, I don't want to leave. I want to push and fit to be fit for the second half of the season, and credit to the club, they've stuck by me. That's why I feel obligated now to give everything I want to repay the faith when I get the chance. He also goes on to say, on his time at Spurs, explained that he has lived his dream at the North London club, but found it more and more difficult to get minutes. I had some amazing years at Spurs. I have been at the club since I was 5. I went to games when I was 10. He said, what I did there was beyond my vision and my dream. I am so proud of that. I'm thankfully for the club and for some amazing experiences in my life. Last season, though, the situation was clear. I told the club I wanted to go and play regularly. I wasn't happy just being on the bench and not getting minutes. Every time I played, even if I did well, I would be out of the next game. Yeah. One reason, you're shit. And it's really difficult to play your best football like that. You never played any good football. What the fuck are you on about?
Sideways and backwards football, yeah.
Not even that. I
said to
the club with no animosity, I want to play regularly. I had some amazing years at Spurs, but I want to go get my confidence and fitness back. I need to show that my qualities again. You never had any qualities to begin with. So what are you on about? I spoke to Sampdoria, the manager, director of football, and the one thing that really attracted me was the historical, that they are a huge club. Yeah, okay, maybe in Italy.
They're not.
The main driver was I wanted to play for a team that wanted me. Right, can I just stop this?
They're an average club.
Right, can I just stop this here? Right?
Yeah.
If you had showed the same commitment and showed the same commitment and drive that you're showing now at Sampdoria, if you're at Tottenham, you were still playing for Tottenham.
Yeah.
So let's get one thing straight. All right. It's down to you why you're not playing here. And last couple of years, it was difficult with Spurs. I didn't have that feeling. Also, that's why you put in shit performances, because you didn't have that feeling, was it? You just couldn't be bothered to turn up and do something right for when you were given the chance to put in your best performance then. Right now we get it. What comes next when his loan ends, the summer Winks added, I'm not really thinking too far ahead. The most important thing is playing for Sampdoria and keeping the club in the division. So hang on a minute, Ellie. He says they're a big club, but they're fighting for relegation.
Yeah.
Because
they're not a big club. They're an average club at best, and they've never really done anything in Italy as far as cup competitions, and they haven't won the league to my knowledge recently anyway.
Yeah. And they've played. So look, what do you reckon to his remarks, Ellie, about Tottenham and his time at Spurs and not happy and the club didn't stick by me, they wouldn't play me every week? There's a plain and simple explanation for that. You did well. You weren't good enough. You kept making mistakes, and that's why you were dropped.
Yeah, it's a bit of sour grapes, isn't it? If you're a player and you want to impress, you go out on that pitch and you don't pass sideways and backwards. You progress the ball. You give your all in the tackle. When I saw him, he was like half-heartedly going into tackles. He's not like a Højbjerg or Romero who gets stuck in and actually give their all for the club. So if he says he loves the club so much, why didn't you perform to the standard that you were expected to? We gave you your chances. You even played in the Champions League final, Harry. So, it's not as if we left you by the wayside. No. We gave you plenty of chances. And in that League Cup final, especially against Man City, he destroyed everything we were doing. Like Lucas Moura was progressing the ball. He was getting it, passing it back, sideways, back. I was getting so frustrated with him, So, no, Harry Winks, you're wrong. You're where you are because of what you did at Spurs.
David Clark disagrees with us. He says, I totally disagree with all the Spurs fans. David Clark against it. Fair enough. Who have slaughtered Winks for 2 years now. Even if he wasn't of quality needed, he gave great service to us. I wish him nothing but the best. Look, look, I understand what you're saying, David, and I sort of agree you wish him well, but he is on loan. So he is coming back in the summer. So, and he never played the greatest games with us when he did get his chance. So, do you know why I respect your opinion and understand what you're saying? I think in another way, he wasn't good for us, and I don't want them seeing back in the club. But look, it is what it is. FT Column, big up Column. He says Winks isn't able to reach the standard needed to play at the top of the end of the Prem. No, that's why he's playing for a team in Italy that was struggling for relegation. That's about his thing.
Yeah.
Brian, hang on, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Jed Spence and Joe Rodon at Rennes.
Right.
Rennes got back to winning ways with a 2-0 victory at home against Clermont on Sunday. Jed Spence played the full 90 minutes, but Joe Rodon found himself on the bench for the first time in over a month in League One as a non-used substitute. Spence earned himself a 7.19 in Who Scored's player ratings. The 22-year-old played one key pass, went on 2 dribbles, sent 1 shot off target, had a better pass succession rate, 97.9%, and from his 47 passes than any other starting player. The pitch, defensively, he completed 1 tackle, 1 interception, 5 clearances. Spence also got 90 minutes under his belt in the Europa League as Rennes lost 2-1 away against Shakhtar Donetsk on Thursday night in Poland. Of course, the Ukrainian teams are playing in Poland. And Rodon was also a non-used substitute that night. Ellie, Joe Rodon, we know he hasn't got the quality. He's not the greatest defenders, but it's not working out for him at Rennes for some reason. Yeah. Jed Spence, I have read. Where did I read it now? Some of the Rennes fans are not taken to him, and they feel that he's struggling over there a little bit. But what do you take out for what I've just read now? Do you think he can make his success at Tottenham?
It all depends if Conte stays, because Conte doesn't fancy him at all, does he? That's why he's out on loan. So he wants him to learn as well, because obviously if he had shown enough at Spurs in terms of his training sessions and his commitment and everything like that, I'm sure Conte would have had him in the team, even though he wasn't his choice. Because Conte sees players in training day in, day out. So he knows what they're all about and their character. He's looking for a certain type of player. So he's got to grow up a bit, Jed Spence, I believe. But what I read about him in the background, he's a bit of a, cocky boy. He talks his talk. But the thing is, if he knuckles down and he impresses those Rennes fans, because the French are like the English, they love their football. Right, if he knuckles down and does well over there, I'm sure he'll come back a better player, Dermot.
Yeah, well, the French media have been hammering him. The Stade Rennes online handed the right back a rating of 3 out of 10 in that game we've just read, the lowest of any player. The publication wrote, was that for last night's game? No, it was for the weekend's game. Wrote the negative point of his victory is the defensive frailty of the Englishman. Completely marked the whole game. Offensively more visible, but his ball ascent bringing the 2-0 technical and messing errors for the rest. So he's really been getting hammered in the French press. But you read the stats there, Ellie, that I've got there on the screen, and it looks like he had a wonderful game.
Yeah, it does.
So, Ellie, is it more of the French just don't like the English players, and maybe that's something to do with it as well?
I've had experience of France myself, so I'm with you on that one, Dermot. Right, so not to be too hard on Spence, right? The French are going to give him some stick, aren't they? Because he's, like you said, he's an Englishman over there. He's got to impress them doubly well to do anything over there. So they're looking at his overall display right? So sometimes the stats can be deceptive, but in terms of his passing, it's quite accurate, isn't it? In the 90s, right? You can't ask for more than that. I think they're being harsh on him. You know, I watched that game. I didn't watch it all, but I watched the majority of it. And I was like, going forward, he's very strong. Defensively, yeah, he can make some rash decisions and he can get out of position. But he'll learn that. He has to learn it quick as well, because he's 22. So by the time he's 23, 24, he should be like the finished article, I think. And then you go into your late 20s, and then you should be right at the top of your game. Like, so 27, 28, you should hit your peak. Yeah.
We have here Brian Hill, who's at Seville. Brian Hill followed up his goal last week against Mallorca with another start for Seville on Thursday. Well, we should call him Gil Messi. I should rename that, actually. Every week, I should put Gil Messi Seville. However, he found himself taken off at the break with the score goalless, and the hosts went on to win 3-0. The 21-year-old came off the bench for 27 minutes on Sunday afternoon in La Liga as Seville drew 1-1 with Real Vallecano. I hope it. Look, he seems more comfortable in Spain, Brian Hill. He seems more happy where he is. So, what do you think will happen with Hill? Will they sell him to Seville, or will he come back in the summer?
I don't know on this one, because the thing is, he's technically a brilliant player. He can pick up the ball. The thing is his physicality, Dermot, even in Spain. I was watching the games, right? And he was doing some marvellous skills. You know, he's picking up the ball, running at players. He's not scared to take on a player. And if he loses it, he loses it. He'll try and win it back anyway. But I think he lacks that physicality in regards to his strength, because I saw him bullied off the ball quite often, right? But when he got past his player, he can create havoc in defences because he's got the skill set, you know, and he's got a good pass on him as well. And he moves the ball quickly, which I like. You know, he's not one of these slow, deliberate wingers, right? But sometimes when you're on the wing, right, you've got to think quickly, right? He's got that, but sometimes you've got to also be cultured, right? He's got to learn how to nurture the ball, like Kulu does. He hardly ever loses the ball, Kulu, but lately he has been. But like in general, he hardly loses the ball. So he's got to learn that. But that'll come with physicality as well. So he's got to build his strength up. But we've been saying that for since he joined us, haven't we, Dermot?
Yeah, that's so true. We have, Ellie, but look, we will talk about Hill next week. And we're doing this every week, me and Ellie, on the Wednesday. We're going to go through the players that are out on loan in Europe and go through that thing. Now, lastly, we're going to Tanguy Ndombele. Tanguy Ndombele's Spurs game that times continue with his latest brief cameo from the bench at the weekend. The 26-year-old came off the bench in 11 of Napoli's past 12 Serie A matches. And on Friday, he got 12 minutes under his belt as a 1-2-0 win at Sassuolo. I hope I pronounced that right. To continue their title push. Ndombele looks likely to end the season with a winner's medal through Napoli was sitting 15 points clear of Inter at the top of the Serie A. Ndombele will be hoping for a Champions League game on Tuesday night as Napoli travel to Frankfurt in the last 16 of the Champions League. Ellie, Miss Ndombele, if Napoli qualify for the Champions League, then there's an option to buy Ndombele there, I think, for a reduced price.
Yeah.
Are you praying that he goes to Napoli? That Napoli buy him, that he's done enough for Napoli to buy him?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm praying, but I'm hoping, because he's not going to come back to Spurs while Conte's there, that's for sure. But if Poch gets the job, you never know. But I'm going to call him Tanguy Ndombele, because that's what he does. He sits on the bench. Like, they find him out, they play him, right, and then they find him out that he's not got the fitness or the commitment on the pitch for a 90-minute match. Now, the match runs for 90 minutes. If you can do what Ndombele can do in 10, 15 minutes. That's what they're using him for, because they know he's got the skill set, but they just don't know. They know, that he hasn't got the commitment to last that 90 minutes or even 60 minutes.
No.
You know, we've seen it at Spurs where he's faded out, and he'll do one bit of magical skill. Do you remember that goal against Sheffield United? That one, you see that stands out, right? And fans love that. They do, but that's not enough to carry you throughout a season. You've got to have players that give their all, and also bring that technicality for at least 70, 80 minutes of the match, not 10, 15 minutes here or there. No. That's not cutting the mustard in the Premiership. You might get away with it in Italy, but not in the Premiership.
Well, I've always said that the different styles, it's different paces. Well, look, we're going to get through these comments, Ellie, and we're going to end it off there. Yes. It was only a short one today anyway.
Yeah.
David Clark puts Ndombele is coming back. At least Winks run off the pitch, unlike Ndombele, who's coming back and will be on 230 a week. I hope Spurs fans are as hard on him as are. Well, yeah, we are hard on both, David. Absolutely. He also put, I've watched Spurs under 23s and under 18s. There are not many players there who are going to burst onto the scene, become the first team. We are going to do a show in this now. This may be a Spurs New Round special show, or maybe a night show. I'm not sure yet, but we are going to talk about the under 23s and the under 18s and the youth system at Tottenham. Why is it so bad? So I think next week we'll be doing that. That will be a show we will be doing.
I think I've seen some improvements in that field, Dermot, because I've been watching it as well. And since Jermaine Defoe's come in, and it takes time, right? It takes time to nurture these boys, right? So we don't want to rush them, right? But some players are late bloomers. Look at what's his name, Ian Wright, and what's his name at Leicester, Jamie Vardy. They were in non-league, right? Yeah. And then they burst onto the scene. So it can happen. Some players do develop just like that, and they grasp onto, like, better coaches can bring out the better players, They've got the potential, but they can bring it out.
They can. David Clark puts Hill will only progress if playing for a dominant team who has lies of possession. But over here, he was coming on to some struggling for Spurs side, which didn't help him. Yeah, you could argue with that as well. But look, I think Gil will go to. I think we will sell him to Seville in the summer. I think he's happier in Spain. He wants to be in Spain. But look, if he comes back and he bulks up a bit, we have a world-class player on our hands. I'm very much in the Gil Missy camp. David Clark puts, I've heard that he's going to walk back. This is Ndombele. I heard that he's going to walk back to Spurs in the summer. So at his pace, it should take him 5 years to get back.
That's a good one, David. Yeah. That's the best quote of the day.
It is. And Wayne Bonner with the last comment of the show. Ndombele bye is a good and talented player, but only as long as everyone else does the hard work and graft it. Wayne Bonner, absolutely perfect. Ellie, thank you for doing this short show. I apologize, everyone. It's not as long as it normally is, but it's just this morning. It was just circumstances, and we had to rush Ellie back from her day out, so she's quick.
Yeah, that's no problem. Listen, I don't care. Spurs comes first. I told my cousin, you go on, and I'll meet you down there later.
Yeah,
right. She'll go shoe shopping, my cousin.
Yeah, well, we're going to let you go. We've got Wayne Bonner with one more. Hill is a quality player. We should have kept him, just give him plenty of time during games so he can progress and evolve. Look, he may come back, Wayne, in the summer. And if, say, if Poch does come back, who knows? Poch may want to keep him and develop him. So, and if Conte's still there, Conte may want to keep him and develop him. Conte likes what he sees. But maybe he felt for this season, he just needed a season away just to get regular football, so he's not on and off the bench. Well, look, thank you everyone for watching, for tuning in. It's been a great show. We're back tomorrow at 12:30 with Newsround with all the latest news from Spurs. We're back on tonight at 7:00 with Will Poch return with a big question mark, and then tomorrow night we're going to do the Sugar years and we're going to rate the managers under Alan Sugar. Everyone from Ozzy Ardiles to Georgie Graham, and to the man who loves his trains, Christian Gross. But whatever you do, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Mia in the background for looking after the chat. It's me and Mia tomorrow. Yeah. And then me and Ellie are back on Friday. Whatever you do, enjoy the rest of your day. See you tonight at 7. Whatever you do, come on, you Spurs.
I'm rushing to get a train, but come on.